like I feel like the weirdo.
Yeah.
After a while, but saying so much and then people be mad at me.
Yeah.
You know, like why y'all? I'm trying to help, and it seems like people. It's like I don't know.
Do you feel like it ain't helping?
It ain't helping. It's like they mad at me for saying stuff that can help more. Like it's like when I say it, people look at me like I think I'm better than them, and it's like no.
Like you think that?
Yeah.
I don't think that
right,
at all.
Exactly.
I think I'm one of y'all.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was us.
Right, man. And it don't be like that, and I be hating feeling that way. Like I go through with my brothers and sisters about that. You know what I'm saying? Or too stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? It's just you're like, dang. And my cousins and stuff, we talking. Be like, man, just do this and do that. Try to better yourself. This and that. You know.
And they look at it like you judging them, like you critiquing them, or you think that you better.
Yeah, all of that, and it's like, man, no, man,
it's like I can see the issue, and I can also see the solution.
Right.
And I would be doing all of us a disservice if I didn't share that.
Right.
Being able to see it.
Right, and I'm only saying it because it's like if I'm standing right here with y'all, and you know everybody done went their little paths or whatever, so to speak. But if I can stand right here with y'all, it's like, and if y'all feel like y'all in some certain position where y'all ain't got no, however y'all feel, and I'm sitting there like, well, I'm standing next to y'all, and I feel like I done did a little something different. I ain't saying I'm better, but if y'all feel like y'all ain't got a house or stable place to stay or a job or you know doing something to stabilize yourself, and I feel like I ain't doing nothing crazy, but I done stabilized something.
Right.
If I could tell you what I done did, then you know how is that shitting on y'all? I'm showing you what I done did already. I ain't saying what you should be doing. I'm saying it worked for me, nigga. What the fuck?
And I'm feeling like I'm doing something wrong for keeping it to myself.
Right. You know. That's crazy, man. And that's
like,
why I don't
like I feel wrong for keeping the answer to myself.
Right. And it's almost like when they think you bragging or something. It's like, nah, man, I ain't bragging about. I'm so grateful. Honestly, I am truly grateful because I know shit could be totally opposite. I'm grateful even in the strength that all these years that went past and me messing with this and all the other stuff that could entail, like shot in jail and all that stuff that I'm still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's blessed, you know what I'm saying? Forget all the other stuff. This, anybody can get a job and try to get, like, man, you know what I'm saying? That ain't, but I'm blessed to be out of all that, to be alive after that shooting, you know, not have did no time out of all this stuff, you know what I mean?
Yes. Well, it's some divine order shit.
Yeah.
It's some it's some divine order shit. I mean, and the reality is, it's crazy. Cause I already know we don't even got to knock on wood, not for real.
Right. Right.
Like on some shit is written, but it's just, yeah, it's refreshing. Our conversation is refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Continuously.
You know, remember I was talking about that the masonry stuff, not necessarily masonry stuff, but the symbolic, the symbolism or something. But when I was talking about the third eye stuff, because you said it, I didn't say the word, but you said it, and I was already on it, but I didn't know if you was on what I was talking about. But you already
the kundalini shit.
Yeah. So that's the stuff I was talking about when that's stuff that they were showing Jesus doing.
Right.
Nobody could understand it, so they kept trying to just they keep praising the person instead of doing what he did. Like he did all this stuff that, okay, like what if God did put different people out in different religions so they can understand him? However they felt like they needed to understand him, because of Buddhism, they do the same thing. They get this shot, you know what I'm saying? But it's to the Buddhists, that's how they chose to believe it, you know. And God chose other people to follow this way. Like, you know, as you are, you come to know and you follow some type of person, whoever shows you the way, the light.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody trying to fight over who's right and who's wrong, but it's the way. The way to go.
Like it ain't no right or wrong.
Right. Ain't no right or wrong. It ain't even no person. It's the way. The way to get here is through your own self, and you can be in one with everything. It's you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
You know, the following the being is to pay homage to one who showed us the way, but not just to pay homage. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like don't get. It's the hand. What is it? The hand is quicker than the eye. Like, don't get caught.
Yeah.
With this person's face and figure in the image of.
Yeah.
It's more. It's really supposed to follow the stuff that you can't see.
Right. Exactly.
It's the what and the how not the who.
Not the who. You know what I mean? Exactly. And that's what the whole religious thing over, and people can't believe it and understand it because they can't think of themselves as being connected to something that great to say that it created us or nothing like that and showed us the way to get back or showed us that we can have that much power in ourselves. Because he never said that you were going to be a slave and have to do nothing. It was like...
He taking too long?
Is it over or is it... I missed it.
It's a little bit more because I saw a bug down there. It's a ladybug. A good ladybug.
Okay.
Look, I was going to say, that was good luck, but she was already on it.
All right.
A good ladybug.
All right. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about that one time, man. That whole experience on that part, because I wanna like do the whole thing, so to speak. And I don't know. For some reason, it got to be. I mean, I ain't saying it got to be, but yoga people associate some doing something with these chakras and all that same stuff. I ain't necessarily going the yoga route. I just want to understand what.
But you do understand because you just described it.
Yeah, but I know. For some reason, it seemed like it's like a process with the yoga thing of learning yourself and doing all this. It's a mastery itself. I understand.
It's a meditation.
Right. So.
Because Barnes' mother had a crazy kundalini experience.
Okay.
Where she could hear, it was like she could hear a deep male voice coming out of her body and was talking. I mean, she went psych ward, the whole shit. And she studies, what she studies is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So from my seat, because I went to her meditation class,
right,
and everybody was in there, and they was, teaching us how to meditate and how to go silent and all that kind of stuff. And she said that I was doing it, but I didn't feel like I was doing it. Like in my mind, it's like, did I really meditate? Because what I feel like I did is what I always do when I go to sleep.
Which is?
Close my eyes real tight and keep them closed until I wake up. Like there's some crazy shit going on in the room, go to sleep type shit.
Okay.
But I feel my eyes flicker.
Okay.
And in taking the class, I'm like, oh, that's how you transition into a meditative state. Like literally what she was trying to teach me to do, it was like I felt like I couldn't do it because I was already doing it.
Okay.
And then the more I started to learn, the more I felt like I don't need to be in the class. I don't need to read none of these books.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like when we talking about like racism, or we talking about we talk about how I kind of talk about like the art world or racism, and you kind of talking about religion and higher power.
Right.
We kind of having the same conversation,
yeah.
Just two different sectors of life or something.
Yep.
I felt like I'm already in it.
Exactly.
I'm in the pursuit. The artistic journey is the pursuit of self. Okay. This is what I just told these kids at OU last week.
Really?
The artistic journey is the journey to self, Pete. And not that it's one situation is better than the other. I would imagine that people who go into church, there's some version or some path that takes you to the kundalini experience.
I believe it's the expression of that.
Like that's probably what the real Holy Ghost is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not the taking over by spirit and letting yourself be free and expressing, but like really being taken over where you are out of control,
mm-hmm.
but at a point where that was the intent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally for about a year and a half, 2 years, walked around and said, I want to get rid of all inhibitions. Mm-hmm. I want to stop second guessing myself. I'm not going to question it. And I could feel it. And it was a progressive thing. Because I was trying to get out of the way of myself. But the getting out of the way of self had everything to do with my programming, the behaviors, if I call it, the inferiority complex,
mm-hmm.
Somebody else might just call it doubting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I've just been reading books that's talking about when you in an impoverished situation, you the person of color in a white dominated environment, mm-hmm. racism can have you thinking of that. Not that it's isolated to racism.
Right.
It's something else that could be having you dominated. But it was like the field of study, mm-hmm. that was probably most intriguing to me has been race and racism.
Right.
Is why you hear me talking that a lot. But ultimately, it was like I was in New York, and I said, something is missing from my work. I started to feel like the thing that was missing from my work was me. Mm-hmm. I started to feel like the part of me that was missing the most was anger, aggression, because it was something that I do not express. And I felt like that was buried into the relationship that I didn't have with my dad. Okay. So I opened up the relationship with my dad, which ultimately started making it easier and giving me more permission to be myself, because I realized that I can be like him, because he's not out of control. Because I'm realizing like, oh, he ain't the one that's popping off.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. So I don't gotta worry about, I could be myself. It's just literally that part of it. Right. My anger, my frustrations started to be expressed through the work, because now my work is starting to reflect how I'm letting my mind express itself. Right. Where we can sit and talk to 4:00 in the morning the way me and you talk. Right. And the difference being that, not that we ain't on two different pages, we ain't on two different planets, like we on the same page, we see in the same direction, even if we got a different way of expressing it. And this nigga, me and that nigga, it was the same. Right. Which was nuts. Well, but you were around your dad enough to know what it's like for somebody who played a part in creating you is expressing. You realize that you're his expression. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. So I'm experiencing that, making the work, and then saying, I'm tired of sitting there not saying exactly what I want to say. Like I feel like I've mastered being tactful. I can definitely figure out the best way to say some shit. But I was tired of the mental process of trying to say it the right way, to do all this stuff. And then when I was able to be open enough, it was like that stuff all shook off. Okay. The second guessing, the question, the doubting, all that. It was like my whole life was stream of conscious thought outside of myself, like outwardly. Right. And I was able to see that, record that, videotape that, and analyze that. And then I said, oh shit. So you telling me if I'm out of my mind, so they say, this is the stuff that I'm expressing? The stuff that's been buried? Right. But I feel like none of it was detrimental. None of it was out of control. Right. None of it I feel bad for letting out, because I feel like in our relationship, the role that experience played from my side of it was it got us here, my nigga. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
So it's kind of like I look back on all of it. You know, I got audio recordings of a lot of the shit, and I'm listening, and it's like, okay, so I've created such a habitual behavior for myself of, you know, not being violent, not arguing, not fussing, not cussing, being fair, being honest, checking myself, you know, seeing my participation, taking responsibility, like all that stuff that I was having to make sure I was practicing when I was trying to get to a point where I can just strip it all so I can kind of figure out who the fuck I really am. That stuff was all on autopilot. Right. You know, so it was like, oh, I don't gotta practice it no more. It's who I am now. Right. You know what I mean? And I can tell you that following the work is what did it, is what got me there. Because once I started learning about it formally through Ms. Boyd, I mean, I went to one meditation class. And she's like, I really want you to come back. And I never really said it just verbally to her. It's like, I don't need to come back. Like, you're getting there in a different way than me. But it's like everything that you're saying, it's like I already know it. Even though I don't. I ain't never heard it. I ain't never read it. Right. But what it's saying is giving words to something that I'm experiencing. Exactly. And I'm a little more comfortable just letting myself experience it. Right. And then me thinking this and me feeling this and not sharing it, then I kind of seen what happened with her, which was, you know, it freaked her the fuck out. You know, she just taught her first meditation class maybe this year in like 10 years. Because she was in the psych ward, she was talking in tongues. She said the devil was telling her to do all kinds of shit, to kill people, but it was the devil was speaking for her. I mean, she got a hell of an experience with this kundalini shit.
And that's crazy because because a lot of the ones I looked up, I mean, they were saying the same things, that you kind of got to be cognizant of what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can open the gate for different entities, so to speak. Or, I mean, but I know some of them was being a little bit more deep, saying that basically what you're actually seeing is a reflection of who you are.
Right.
So whoever you talking to or being scared of is actually your consciousness and all that stuff.
And that's a similar description of how the dreams work.
Right. And they were saying people, if they don't understand that even from the beginning with, they automatically assume they seeing monsters or hearing demons and all that stuff, which I can understand too. But I'm also, a part of me.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's like what you just said made me think about with Miss Boyd. Is I always say she needs somebody to talk to. She need to write a book, because when she talks, she talk like we talk. I mean, not that she talks like we talk. We can talk for hours, but she wants to talk for the 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
It's not a conversation. Right. She needs to release. Okay. She needs to purge. You know what I'm saying? Because she's very well read, but it's all in that direction. And I don't think she's aware of herself. Mm-hmm. And I say this to Allie all the time. And the fact that I can say I don't think she's aware of herself, I recognize that her studying it and not being on the journey of self may have played a role in her perception of her experience with it all. Mm-hmm. See, me, it didn't scare me because I've been on the journey of self, not knowing it since we was little.
Right.
Like, that's where being an artist, or going from being a creative person to an artist, that transition is the discovery of self.
Right.
It's like once you discover yourself, that's when you're an artist.
And that's why, basically, to put it in full circle, is how we even started this conversation. That's why I was talking about the time frame. I know the yoga is, like I said, to take some steps. It's like you got to go through it. Like me, like you saying, you can kind of identify that you were already taking those steps. So
right.
When you had the experience, it wasn't as traumatic because you understood what was happening.
I kind of was excited about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh shit, this shit crazy.
And me, I'm looking for something like that, but I don't know if I've done all the bottom steps to get to that point. I don't want to go through this experience and then see myself and I'm not even understanding what I'm seeing yet, or not even aware that of what's going on to me. So I be freaked out because I want to clear all whatever I got to get in from the bottom before I get to that place, so I can have a different experience of what it's supposed to be like.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's why I'm trying to figure out what path to take. So I guess I got to start at the bottom with,
But you're not at the bottom. See, I mean, your journey is your journey of all of this. Honestly, I think it's through the creative process. I think you're in the middle, in my opinion. I think you haven't taken the next obsessive ritual steps in your creative journey and process. I think that when you share with me that when you shared the CD and the people around you didn't give the energy back, which didn't really play a positive role in you continuing your pursuit.
Right.
I think that when we having a different conversation 15 minutes ago, you already know who those people are. You already know that those people won't even play that role. You know what I'm saying? And they got in the way of it. Mm-hmm. I feel like I said, my isolation, black sheep family shit, but the CSA family shit made it easy for me to recognize who I can share with and who I can't.
Right.
And then I started to feel guilty at some point that it's like my whole family, they don't know nothing that I'm doing.
Right.
So the fact that I'm carrying that guilt, I released that guilt by opening up the world of it to them. In me moving back, that's what I was doing.
Right.
It was like I was sharing me as Donald, the creative kid, the weirdo, the outcast. I was sharing it all with him for the first time. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, I was sharing it with Michael and Quandale, but it wasn't this family engagement thing.
Right.
It was like, I don't know how to protect it because it's mine. Mm-hmm. Which means now I can share it. You like it, you don't like it. Come to the show, don't come to the show. Like that ain't your responsibility. Your obligation ain't to me. I don't feel no kind of way, and I feel good that I'm allowing it to be available.
Right.
And then, like literally. But I feel like with your experience, once the creative expression came to a pause, and not all of the creative expression. Everything you do is a creative expression, but the very intentional.
Yep.
You know, that deep rooted. Don't nobody know what I'm thinking but me, and not to figure out a way to pull it out of me. That shit.
It's funny.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, the movie we're watching right now is Jingle Jangle. It's a kids movie. It's a Christmas movie.
I wanted to see it because I seen the preview on the Fire Stick.
It's exactly what
it's exactly what we're talking about.
What you just said. Dude basically invented something, and his apprentice took it and ran with it because, you know, I guess the dude wasn't. He was so busy trying to get his stuff going off that the apprentice was trying to show him his invention, and he ain't had no time for him or whatever. So when the dude left, he took his inventions and left, and went and became big. You know, this dude ended up losing everything basically.
Right.
But he stopped trying to invent because he was so distraught that shit happened. So he wasted all this time and all this other stuff and felt like he lost it, but he didn't. He kind of did, but like I missed whatever happened after that. But obviously he got it back. You know, the movie ain't gonna be like that.
Right.
But I'm thinking the same thing because what you just said was like, you're right. I had to think about it. Like I've been thinking about it for a long time. Like I stopped intentionally trying to make that music in like 2007. In 2008 is when I made that CD.
Right.
And that's the last time I did it.
Crazy that I just sent you that picture?
Right. That's great. And I said that to her.
Well, it's funny because what you said
I was
in the
saying something
garage.
at night though.
Oh, really? When you was in the garage, you was like, man, I just wish I'd have been documenting this stuff. And when you said that, what you did is you sparked all of these pictures that I have of you in my mind. It's all been on my mind nonstop since the day you said that. Because I'm thinking like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because he don't know. It's like, you know how much I'm taking pictures, but you ain't seen it. And the fact that you ain't seen it, and the fact that it's not organized in a way where I could be like, hey, P.
Right.
It's that made me start creating a folder like, oh shit, let me throw this in for Prentis. 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 Because it all exists. I mean, I said this last week in the conversation.
Right.
When Gary told me I'm never gonna make it in his upper level classes, taking pictures of my roommate, that shit pissed me the fuck off. And then that's when we did the fucking fashion shoot with the academic jogging suit in the lab. And then when I win the competition with Sean's face, this shit is intentional, B. It's like, I think you're wrong. And when it was happening, I didn't know what was offending me. Like, you mean something to me.
I feel you.
So when you're saying your roommates, I hear Prentis, and I don't. That pissing me off.
Right.
But I'm at a point of suppressing frustration and anger and all that kind of stuff. I'm only letting myself express creatively. Mm-hmm. Like we literally did that shoot after that conversation.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that was my reaction. It wasn't violent. It wasn't none of that. It was, then this ain't my direction.
Right. That's crazy. You're right.
I think it's the creative journey. I think people figure out money or people figure out what they want to do. And I think the rest of maybe life or the journey is the balance of the other.
Right.
I feel like I ain't got no money, but I got a very, very sound understanding of the direction and what to do in that direction.
Right. So everything.
And I feel like, not saying you feel like, oh, I got all of the money that I want, but financially, you're in a different position. And I feel like creatively, artistically, and expressively, you are right. But you have the stuff to communicate because it's all the stories that you have. So you're an orator, you're a writer, you're a rapper, you all that kind of shit. It don't even matter. The reality is you're a communicator. You was being bred to be a communicator consciously, intentionally since you were 9 years old. And that shit got cut off. So that estrogen and all that shit that happens to the pineal gland that represents the third eye was being massaged nonstop 5 days a week. And you were using it as a survival tactic. And then the world got turned on. And society said, what you want to be, not what do you want to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like your experience, you just need to communicate it and document it because it's going to turn into whatever it's supposed to be. Right. Whether that's what you want it to be, kind of or not. But you're just supposed to be.
You missed the whole thing, Dada.
It's okay. I'm sorry. We'll watch the rest of it tomorrow. I'll watch it again with you.
Sorry.
I see you lost your earring again, huh?
That sounds sleeping too wild.
Did you find it? Oh, hell no.
So we put it in the other year.
I gotta get you some screw-on backs.
Oh, the screw back, yeah.
Yeah.
So I really think you got everything that you need already.
I know. I guess I'm being closer to getting the anger in me. I guess again to push it out. Like, cause I guess
you're probably you probably starting to feel full.
Yeah. It's like overflow.
Like, I need this shit just to.
Yeah. Because I guess before I was feeling that way like all the time, and it was just coming out, and it was certain things I was just, like it was just me. I just was writing, it was just coming, and I've been trying to find those moments, but it be sometimes more so I hear a beat or something, then I get to writing in my head, or I'll see something, but I don't have no paper and then to write down what I want to say, or the phone and and say it right then and there. But I need to I guess try to capture those moments, so I can get back in the groove of putting something together. But yeah. I may want to try doing instead of rhyming so much, I might want to try to do it in the spoken word fashion, so I can really focus on what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But still try to rhyme it, but more so almost like Def Poetry Jam or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm probably gonna still rap it, but I know saying it that way I can really make my words and my whatever I'm trying to say intentional, because that's what I really want them to, whoever the audience is.
You might want to start paying attention to when it do come to you, like all of the details. Kind of like, are you in a car? Had you smoke? Had you drink? Are you by yourself? Are you blocking out noise? What you want to do is try to, when it do come, even as for a glimpse, you want to really, really, really study when.
Okay.
Because then you just reset that back up.
Yep.
Like, I already know that when I can just talk off the top of my head, the bet I can sit and write and type, 250 words is if I done blew in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And then get in the shower. Because when I'm in the shower, my stream of conscious thought is fluid.
Yeah.
So I done started bringing the phone in there, and then I just talk out loud in the morning in the shower by myself. I'm in the house by myself. Allie went to work. So it's just kind of like, once you really know when, then all you do is you start to create it. You start to create the scenario. You don't even have to wait up. You don't even have to wait for it. It's kind of like you create it. I had to do the presentation to black students at OU, and so I watched Higher Learning like 10 times. Sat there, editing whatever I was doing, because what I knew what it was going to do is going to trigger my mind to college and what's happening in college and what my thoughts are, or the questions that's just popping randomly in and out, and I'm jotting them down.
Right.
And I didn't watch it just once. You know what I'm saying? I literally let it keep going. Allie walked in like,
Turn it off. We sitting here talking, we having a conversation.
She said, what made you, did that just come on? Did you watch that? Because you got to do this talk to the kids? I'm like, oh yeah. She's like, dang, that was smart. Right. So I just noticed what the movies do to me.
Right.
So I started like creating my surroundings with what I need to think about to produce on call. Not because of how I'm feeling or random times. Like, that wasn't enough for me. And it's funny because this could go into our conversation about Breaking Bad. Remember we went to Baby Bonefish or something, me, you, Allie, and Rock, and we was talking about Breaking Bad, and I was like, I ain't never even seen the Tyler Perry movies, and you like, well, damn, how the fuck you ain't never seen the Tyler Perry movies, and you talking about this racism shit, but then you be watching Breaking Bad? Like, that don't make sense. And I mean, that ain't literally what you said. That's kind of what I heard.
Well, this was a minute ago?
Yeah, this was a minute ago.
Okay. Because we ended up watching Breaking Bad, too. Like, we watched the whole thing.
Yeah, no, this was a minute ago.
Okay.
But I had probably a hard time expressing that I just like Breaking Bad because it's about it's somebody grappling with who they are. So I'm watching it because it's giving me all these questions, these ideas for images about myself. Right. Same thing with Dexter. Somebody grappling with who they are.
Right.
So it was just triggering all this stuff that I want to think about.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just interesting. Like I've learned the process of helping myself go there.
Right.
And honestly, P, like I said this before, the kundalini experience, like that ain't suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Like it ain't like, oh, I had this experience and then it went away. It's like I had this experience and then I probably only communicated openly to like you and Allie that it's like it has forever changed me.
Right, I know. I would assume you know?
You know, and it's like it's active.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, now I can put this disguise. Now it's like I can put the disguise back on to keep myself protected.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I wanted to, that's why it made me understand when it happened, when everybody else was kind of saying like, D tripping. And first we, like I said, was thinking it might have been some weed or something, and they're like, nah. I'm like, man, well, what's going on? And they were trying to describe it and stuff, and I'm like, well, prior to that happening, me and Rock was already looking at some stuff and videos and stuff, and me trying to learn about whatever the hell is going on, true or not, I don't understand, but I'm like, we caught up on the third eye stuff, so I was already looking at these videos, and something made me ask, somebody in the midst of this, and I don't know if it was Allie or your mom, but somebody said something about the third eye. Somebody said something about you doing some meditation or something with Miss Boyd or something.
Probably my mother.
Yeah, so that got me. I think the conversation was asked to Miss Boyd about this, and she said something about the third eye. Mm-hmm. So that's when I'm like, oh. So when I saw you in the hospital, I was really trying to observe what was going on instead of trying to go in there like, yeah, everybody like, man, go see me, like Donald crazy. I'm like, nah, man. But it was weird. I had never been through this experience, and I know you kept asking me for water, but make this one cold, make this one hot, make this one like at this temperature, but make it this low, and this is, I'm like, okay, so I'm doing it, but I ain't understanding, and I ain't making no facial expressions or nothing like that. I'm just trying to understand, and then you were saying something, you was telling me about something, but one thing was confusing. I can't remember what it was, but it was like the opposite of what the lady had said. It was kind of weird.
With the food, or?
No, it was something about, it was like a day of the week, or it was something about whatever, something about the week that made me think that maybe something was weird. Because the way you answered it was like, okay, it ain't whatever we thinking a week is, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know my nigga Donald was here still, you know what I'm saying? And you recognized me, because I could tell that you recognized when I walked in the door, the way what you were saying to me. I knew you knew it was me.
Right. Well, I can still see you. I can see you in my mind now.
Right.
Like I can see it. I remember sitting there playing around like Will Smith with the glasses, with the cups or whatever, because that's the shit that I remember sparking in my head. And I remember the whole idea, and it might have been something that I seen, but talking about water and the pH, and when it's cold versus when it's hot, it's got a different sound and all this different shit. But so it's funny.
Yeah, you was on something. Because right.
Because it's like I can remember, as you talking, I can remember different shit that was happening.
Right. So, like I said, when I left out of there, I think we talked to your mom and said, I ain't confirmed what they said. I'm just thinking like you might, need to sit in here for a day or two for like to be, so you could see you, because they said you was trying to climb out the ceiling or something like that. So I'm like, well, matter of fact, you told me you was like, Pete, they said I'm trying to climb out of here, right? Like you was talking to me like I've been acting crazy, P. I already know. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I was with you.
Right.
So when they came in, I wasn't, like this dude crazy. I'm sitting there like, all right, everything cool. So when they left, you would be like, yeah, man, I had to figure out how to get out of here or something like that. But you was laughing and it's like, give me some water. So I'm going through the motions and stuff with you. And like I said, when I got out of the room, I'm like, yeah, just watch him, because I know he's trying to climb out the room. But then I went right home and went right back to the computer and started looking at the third eye stuff. And that's when I knew. And then you said it when you got out.
Okay.
And that's what made me more interested. Because I'm like, well, what did you do? And what did you see? And how did you do? Because I had seen all these videos and they experienced and stuff. And I was trying to figure out what exactly did you do? How did you do it? Because, with the pineal gland and the popping and stuff, you told me how you closed your eyes and you heard something pop. And then you said you even seen you told me you seen an astral projection or some type of, you seen the energy emanating from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I can feel my body metabolizing and all kind.
Yeah. So all of that, and then you say you can hear stuff. You can hear. I don't know if you say you can hear our thoughts, but you can hear basically.
It was like the best way I can describe what I was experiencing was Lucy. That's why I call it my Lucy.
Right. So I understand that too. So
you know what I'm saying? Like when I seen that movie, I'm like, this is the dialogue.
Right.
Like if I could have put any of them words, I would be saying exactly what this white girl is saying right here.
That's what's up. That's the connectedness with the one. Like, you know what I'm saying, with the all or whatever it is. You know, the energy that created everything.
And all I did was continue to make figuring out how to be an artist the puzzle that I'm trying to solve. Literally.
I guess the puzzle I might be trying to solve is how to get whatever I'm saying out to the people.
Which is, in my opinion, I don't know if it's only my opinion, an artist is a communicator. Period. At its simplest form.
Right.
We take it in, put it back out. And when we put it back out, people can see it, they can hear it, they can smell it, they can touch it, they can taste it. And they can feel the energy as if they really experience, like if they looking at a picture, they can feel the energy from the picture.
Right.
Like it's not, it's crazy because it's a show coming up, a father show, and it's an image of you and Kendall. This guy asked,
really?
Yeah, if he could use that image to promote for my work that I'm gonna put in the show for Kent.
Wow.
And
where's that at?
It's one of the galleries at Kent State.
Oh wow, that's what's up.
And I'm curious to what image they're gonna buy, because when they asked me if I would do it, the first thing I said is, can y'all buy a piece from me? Because I learned that from Chris Pico.
Okay.
It's like, I'll do the show, but if you buy a piece, then it's like I ain't coming out of pocket. At the very least, the work and all that I'm gonna get paid for.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, people love the photograph, right? Because it represents father and son. It's triggering all those images in everybody's head. Every little girl, every father, when they see it, it's triggering it. And when it triggers it, they get an image and a flash. First of the image they're looking at, but then of the images in their brain database, and then all of the emotions connected to those images in their brain database. Which, so it's literally a transferring of energy.
Right.
But what the energy is that they're feeling is my feelings for you. To be in the backyard, to be chilling. My mother over here, we sitting here chilling, talking about nothing. Then you pick up your daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like I feel that.
I feel you.
So when I'm taking the picture, it's like that's what I'm communicating. Like that's what I'm pulling in and pushing back out. Like it's the communicator.
That's crazy. That's what's up.
Like at its simplest form. Like, so when I hear you saying, like, ultimately that's what it is. You have an obsession and a need for expression. Period. And probably everybody that went to Cleveland School of the Arts has it. And I just feel like some people do good or bad at fighting and resisting not being able to keep doing it all the time. Like I really, really do. Because I recognize that the people who didn't go to School of the Arts or who aren't creative, don't think they're creative, don't seem to be feeling the way we feeling. Right. they just don't.
Right. I understand exactly.
Like something got turned on and then like taken away.
Yep.
That's my critique on not Cleveland School of the Arts specifically, but just generally to activate this in an impoverished situation, a slave descendant situation, a poor kid, whatever way it's described, the people, the public, the community, you activate that when this is a detrimental need. And then it's like, okay, now life is supposed to start because you turned a certain age, and then life's rules are different than the rules of this thing that was balanced.
Right.
I think it creates an imbalance.
Yeah, it definitely did.
You know, and I feel like anybody we ever work for, anybody we ever do anything for, all the family members around, all the people who have access to us benefit off of the sensitive nature of our attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that eye for small detail type shit.
Right.
You know, it's a part of us.
Right.
You know, it don't matter if you was paying attention to a note in or out of tune, or if you was paying attention to grain on a motherfucking negative. Right. We were all being taught and triggered and trained to do a whole lot of stuff, but the attention to detail is one of the key things. Right. Which means we walk into any situation and that's what we see. Mm-hmm. The detail.
Exactly. Everybody glossing over that stuff. Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, so it's, in my mind, all you're supposed to do is, you know, tell the stories. Right. And, you know, however you want to tell the stories. But in a, you know, us as brothers forever, mm-hmm. I think it'd be sweet for you to tell me the stories.
Definitely.
And it ain't that I don't know some of them, but I know I don't know all of them. Mm-hmm. But I definitely have an interest in knowing all of them. You know what I'm saying? Right. And in my mind, what I could really, like I said, I think I might have said it before, is I think I could tell you the stories. It's like when our paths had us go this like that. Mm-hmm. I think we could catch up. Yeah. We can catch up and we can create a volume of these two best friends. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do that.
And then do whatever is needed with the resource material.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and look at it like resource material.
Right.
Like every time you're trying to figure out what you might want to write about, what you might want to talk about, or whatever the case is, you look at the library. You don't have to try to remember it at all. Right. You never even have to think about it. We create chapters, volumes, titles, books. You know what I'm saying? Like, mm-hmm. Like literally. Like P, I probably uploaded another maybe 20 videos to YouTube.
Already? Okay.
And what I do is, even from audio recordings now, I put a photograph on the audio recording, I upload it to YouTube, and I pull the full transcription from that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. So if I got 90 videos up that I can pull up transcriptions for,
right? Yeah, that's a lot of material.
It's like that's them the books.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of when I'm usually watching YouTube and Hulu and all that, I was watching something that's helping me create. It's like, Donald, you gotta stop creating for a second. Because it's like, yeah, you gotta do the next step for this stuff you done accumulated. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been doing. I sit there and I listen. And then it's giving you the transcription, like in real time when you're watching the video. So now what I've been doing is just going, if I hear something, it's like, oh yeah, I love that. I just go copy and paste that section. First I was copying the whole hour video and then going back through and changing the words, putting punctuation and all that. But now I ain't even doing that. I'm just pulling the shit that I want.
Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, we gotta do that thing to me, you know.
And I think all we need is an hour a week.
I'm with that. I mean, we said it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the least intrusive way. But either way, this is we manifesting it now. We manifesting it in our conversations.
Right. we gotta set up the next one of those meetings. Ironically, Craig stopped over here early.
Oh, for real?
Uh-huh. He stopped over here for a second to get a sack too. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
This is crazy.
But that was cool what we did.
Definitely, yeah. I was cool. That was definitely cool. I think, you know, I don't know if everybody got out what they wanted to say, but to start it off like that, I think everybody got a little something out, and I think everybody felt good about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody seemed like they felt comfortable just like talking, and then the fact that it was like different people identified with, like the way we identified was random. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like one person would chime in on this part, another person would say something to this part.
Right.
I don't know. It was something like, That felt good. I don't even know that I ain't had no expectation or nothing I wanted to get. Well, I know what I didn't want to come out of it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why you'd be offended or mad or,
yeah.
You know.
I don't think it was none of that. I mean, you know, if it seemed like it might have got close, it kind of just dissipated because I think everybody knew what the point of the whole thing was. We were trying to get like a resolution out of it and not make people feel bad, so to speak, or, you know, It was just, you know, there's going to be some uncomfortable moments in this, you know what I mean, but it's all in love, like, that's all, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was very interesting and very appreciated. It was like, damn, that was some special shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, we definitely need to keep going with that, and that's just going to, you know, make everybody in their own relationship stronger, and make us all stronger together, you know, as a little group, so to speak. But just even as individuals, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's mental health, to knowing that you're not the only one feeling like this in your own relationship.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I recognize we seem to identify with a lot of each other's shit.
Right. Yep, I noticed that too. Yep. I wasn't gonna say it, but it was like, you could see what was going on, yep.
Because it was like, when you would be talking, I'd be like, I ain't speaking with nobody else. I'm like, shit, nigga, keep on saying it, because this is what the fuck I be thinking.
That's it. Right.
And I be like, am I rogue for thinking this?
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, this is at least normal in some settings, in some cases. Yeah,
right.
Allie was excited. She was like, I thought that was really good.
So I just know I ain't the only one that feel more than the average person does. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to say that to you, like, man, why the fuck I care so much? I don't understand. You know, people would be like, man, fuck me up. Like, man, I don't get it, but it just, you know.
It just seemed like it's some level of peace for the person who don't give a fuck.
Right. You know what I'm saying? How come I can't have that peace? You know what I'm saying?
And maybe they don't have peace. You know, that's me. That's definitely me outside looking in. But it's like, damn, not giving a fuck just seemed like easier. Way fucking easier, man.
Right. That's crazy.
Way easier.
Yep. That was funny. Yeah, that was funny, man. That was a good one. Good times. Yeah, we gotta set that up soon.
Yeah, I think Allie said they was going on just talking, just put up another date and put it down in the calendar, and then do it. And you just keep doing it. Shit.
Yeah. Might as well, you know.
It's funny, she reading a hell of a book right now for her job. I can tell she loving her job. Allie gonna fuck around and be the mayor of Shaker.
That's what's up.
Cause just being at the library and then the way she like us in the sense of information and understand and study and research and learn and read.
Right.
And so she reading a book about gatherings, any kind of gathering. You know, one-on-one conversation, everything being purposeful, whether it's a birthday party or a board meeting. And she kind of reading it because she trying to figure out how to communicate to the library that y'all fucked up. And the reason why y'all fucked up is because y'all have all these meetings and nobody wants to tell the truth. Ain't nobody doing all this stuff that this book is breaking down are the key essential things that's supposed to happen in any kind of back and forth in meeting. And the number one thing is what's the purpose for it and how honest are the people in the conversation.
Okay. I feel you.
She just started reading it yesterday, but she was breaking that down. I'm like, oh, that's like perfect.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
for everything that's happening right now.
Otherwise, it'd be a waste of time.
Otherwise, it's a waste of fucking time. Yep. Yeah, and then the other thing I be thinking about with books and writing and all that kind of shit is Allie is like more than halfway through a novel right now.
Oh yeah? Right, you talking about writing it?
Yeah, and she got 2 people waiting to see the manuscript.
Okay.
Almost on some, as a published writer and author, it's going to open up the portal to the world of publishing. Yep. You know, and I told her, I'm like, Allie, anything, I'm like, shit. She like, you already know, baby, I thought is, you know, the book you be talking about, that's the memoir, this book, all of it. I'm like, yes. Because it ain't like, oh, let me see if I can get me a publisher. And not that I couldn't, but I don't think that's, they ain't even needed. Right. It's kind of like fucking...
Go through the avenue, you know.
Exactly. Malcolm X autobiography was written by...
Alex Haley.
Yeah, Alex Haley. So it's like, shit, if I can I can sit down and give you 100 pages, 50 pages, and then you put your voodoo on it.
Right. Right.
It is, I don't know. So it's that's exciting too.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. That's what's up, man. Happy for y'all on the book and everything.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know that it's different. It's a different like it's a different playing field from everybody that got a book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the people who do it, and then it's like the people who do it for real. It's like it's two different worlds of that shit.
I feel you.
That shit crazy.
That's what's up, man.
It's like, oh, this is the real. This is the not even like the other way is fake, but this is the higher. This is the highest level of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this is serious.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
Like
man.
her professor now is talking to her about how to shop for agents. Like,
Yeah.
And like I want to help you get an agent.
Yeah, shop this book around.
But the manuscript, not the one that came out.
Novel, yeah.
The novel that's only like 90 pages in.
No, what's this one? What's the novel about?
Fucking a little girl who want to pop willies and be a part of bike life.
Oh yeah, I remember
Cleveland
that.
based. So
Right.
it's like, it's the story that I just learned.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm just telling it to her. It's like
Right.
we sit and we talk, and then she come back with another 20, 30 pages. We sit and we talk, she come back with another 10 pages. Come for the small details. I'm sending her Instagram pages. Girls popping willies. The last ride out. She like, oh, I'm like, right, you should come to the ride out, even if you ain't gonna go with us, just so you can see the meetup.
Right.
So when so it's amazing working with a creative person who really, really serious,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like, here go the information.
Right.
I was gonna say this earlier in the conversation, but I'm gonna get out of here so y'all can kind of finish. But so the older guy that I was working with at the Black Shield, and I don't know what the philosophy is from or what realm it comes from or religion, whatever, but he kept saying, the way to be great, and when you're getting closer, he said, you got to give it away. You got to give away everything you know.
Right.
You got to feed it into somebody else. And the moment you feed it into somebody else, then it'll open up for you. And he was saying, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I've been trying to do this with the students or talk to different people. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, oh, wow. I've been giving it what I know or me or whatever, just completely transparently to Allie. And this is what right.
The fruit of it.
Like before the book got published, before the essays at the beginning of the year, this is what he was saying to me, and I'm listening to him. And then at some book I was looking at or reading, and it was kind of mentioning the same thing. And I'm like, oh, got you. Like I can see it happening in front of me.
Right. That's a blessing. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that shit crazy. Cause I don't know, I be fake in my head, like I'm about to quit doing any of this shit. Like, where the fuck is this going? Like, am I just my dad not working? This is the devil, evil side, the second guessing, doubting. It's a little bitty voice in my head that say all this different shit. Right. And I don't even ignore it because I ain't even scared of it. Like it's gonna make me stop. You know what I'm saying? Right. I be listening like, I don't believe that shit.
Right. Right. I feel
you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But
crazy.
And I can't even remember why I was gonna say that earlier, but I definitely wanted to share that. It's kind of like giving that shit away, giving away what you know.
I mean, that's a I read the Bible all the time. That's a principle in there. Is if you want to receive something, you first got to give it away. And a lot of times I even put that in my relationship with her, like the stuff that I didn't see. I felt like I wanted, like I'm missing this and stuff. I just started having to do it.
Gotcha.
In order to, it seems like the stuff that you want, you lacking, or you think you lacking in your life is because you're not actually giving it away either. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost the same principle. Give out what you want back. Plant that seed, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to eat later, you're going to plant that seed down there and water it. So, I guess it's giving out, being that expressive, or giving all this knowledge out, or whatever I got to give out in order to receive something back. But I don't know what I'm I don't know what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? I just want to. I don't know. I don't even know, honestly, man. I just want to know the truth about life, so to speak, and know that. I don't know. I want to go to. If it's a heaven, I want to go there. You know what I'm saying? I want to be alive still. I want to know that whatever they was telling us from before is real, because I think that's the only thing that really that they don't understand about what Jesus said to them, or Yeshua, whoever the name is supposed to be, because it ain't Jesus, because there wasn't no J's. But anyway, that we live still after this. We don't die. We so afraid to die because of this flesh. Mm-hmm. But we are still going to live. It's something that our energy still lives on. We're going to see our part of ourselves rise up out of our body and look down, or whatever that may be. But life is after death. There's nothing to be afraid of, so to speak.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's like eternal. I mean, like it seemed like I don't know, like your personal one, but almost like some eternal life, like to live forever. Like the fact that we know that we're going to die, we internally live with the fear that we won't live forever.
And we kill each other because of it. We kill each other trying to save ourselves from dying.
From dying.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
and it's like God trying to show us, like, stop killing each other, love each other. Your life is to live to the fullest, because it's like a moment. Like, do we hear in this presence? Because we like the basis of our thoughts at like on the chakras. We like at the bottom as far as this physical form. I think the more mental we get, the more when we come with this chakra, the next energy field we be
like
in.
Lucy.
Yeah, we become like more like if everything. We don't just be this physical one person being, you know, and we be everything, so to speak, or we get closer to being everything. I think it rises like the chakras do. From what I've been reading, as far as metaphysics and all that same type of stuff, and I think that's what Jesus was saying. Like, we live after this. You might not be in this form. This form is over, yes, but you are gonna live. You might not even feel you gonna feel none of that.
Yeah, you can't destroy energy.
Right. So stop trying to hurt yourself, and we just still don't get the point. And we still out here doing the same things, and it's like, well, you know, what you do here has an effect on how your energy field is gonna be after this.
Right.
So you can't just think, well, we're going to live again. I'm going to just do whatever, and just die. And it's like, no, well, however you live in, all that energy and all of this is going to have an effect on how your energy field is in the next one. So I get exactly what you're saying. And
if you're gonna be around tomorrow, because I already know I'm going to be at the house. I got some printing to do.